Okay? So let's discuss the next section sa inyong research. So this section will be entitled results. Results lang jud siya kay we are now using the IMRAD format, 'di ba? So you are done with the introduction and methodology. Mao to ang included sa inyong proposal. Now you are in the process of revising your manuscript. The next section will be the results. But you cannot do this portion of your paper if you are not done with your data gathering. So, mo na nga unahon na tuglihok ang tanang mga letters, ang pag-secure og mga certification like sa REC. By the way, kung naa-di maggamit og plant material, you need certification from a botanist pa na naga-authenticate sa inyuhang plant. Like kung ang inyuhang gamiton nga plant kay patatas, you have to secure certification from a botanist na patatas gyud na ang inyuhang gigamit. So, you can communicate with your batchmates sa pharmacy kay I guess ana sila nakita nga botanist. Pero kung naamoy kaila, pwede na to siya. Pag wala mo'y kaila, mo gamit mo og plant material, you can ask your batchmates sa pharmacy kasi last nilang update sa akuha na ana sila nakita sa MSU na pwede maghatag og certification sa inyuhang plant material. Okay, na botanist. So, appeal na siya dito sa inyuhang lihokon. Okay? So, again, this portion of your paper is where you report the findings of your study. So, after the data gathering, after mo mag-experiment, and after mo mag-interview or maghatag sa inyong questionnaire to the respondents, you will be reporting the findings of your study. Okay? So, diri na siya na section. And how are you going to report the findings in your study? You have to do it in a logical sequence and take note. In this section, you are not going to interpret the result. This is just purely reporting of your result. Walay interpretation, walay bias. I-arrange lang nato ang inyuhang result based sa inyuhang statement of the problem. Okay, so sa research question or sa statement of the problem, naka-base ang arrangement sa pag-report sa atuang result. Therefore, if your question number 1 is what is the demographic profile of your respondents, then your table number 1 in the results section will be the demographic profile of your respondents. That's how you arrange the results in this section. Okay? So what are the importance of a good results section? First, kapag ka okay na lahat, meron na lahat information or data na nag-gather, it is important na before ninyo isulat na inyuhang result, take note na the result of your study actually do not prove anything. Wala pa mo'y na-prove. Though you have the result on hand, you have findings based on the gathered information, but always remember na wala pa mo'y na-prove. Therefore, we should not see anything that is stating na you have proven something. This is just merely reporting and answering the statement of the problem and then reporting what new information you have find out during your data gathering. So ana lang ang inyuhang tandaan when you are making the results section of your paper. And how about the page length? It varies from research to research. It is dependent to the amount and types of data that you have to report. It is dependent to how many statement of the problems you have sa inyuhang paper. Kasi isa-isahon man nato to siya og answer. So from statement number 1 until the last statement of the problem. So kung daghan kaayo mo og statement of the problem, then most likely medyo taas pud ang inyuhang results section sa inyuhang study. Now, para sa mga qualitative na research, mag-expect pud jud ta og lengthy na results section kasi 'di ba you will be narrating, you will be reporting like the experiences of your participants. And when you say experiences, daghan na siya, and you have at least 8 participants. So for the qualitative research, medyo mahaba ang results section. And next, in writing the results section of your paper, you have to avoid providing data na hindi kasali sa research question ninyo. Kasi it's actually inevitable na along the way, as you gather information from your participants or your respondents, you will have results na actually you think na significant but actually wala siya sali sa inyong research question. So dili lang nato siya isali kasi dili siya included sa ato ang research problem. Okay? So mo to dependent ta on the SOP. Okay, you can ask questions anytime ha. Next, how about the contents of the results section of your study? So the first part of this section is actually an introductory paragraph wherein you will be restating your research problem and as well as your research questions or statement of the problem. Okay? The purpose of this is to remind your readers kung unsa jud ang inyuhang problem ug inyuhang statement of the problem. Kasi before the results section, daghan na og nilabay. You have the introduction part, you have the under sa introduction na part, you have your review of related literature na medyo mahaba, and then you have your methodology pa. So before reporting your results, you have to remind first your readers what your research is all about and what are your statement of the problem. Okay? So after that, after the introductory na part, you will be presenting your result na. Actually, it's both in textual form or in non-textual na form. So pag sinabing non-textual na form or element, we can use figures, charts, graphs, and most of the time sa research, we use tables to present the result of your study. So we will be we will be using the most appropriate na non-textual element. If appropriate ang paggamit ng graph, then himuon na to siya in that form. Pero again, most of the time sa research, when we present our result, we will be using the table plus the textual description. Okay? So after the table, for example, you will be providing description of your result and you will be highlighting the most important observation or most important information na inyuhang na-gather. Okay? But please take note, you will just describe what is written in the table. You will just highlight the relevant information, but you will not provide interpretation. Mao na siya ang ato ang tandaan kay usahay masagulan siya og interpretation sa result. Ang interpretation class, analysis and interpretation will be reserved sa discussion na part. Remember IMRAD, results and discussion. So dito sa discussion na part, dito ta mag-discuss sa ato ang analysis and interpretation. So naay mga research na ginaisa nila ng results and discussion na part. But sa ato ang case, ato siyang i-separate. So sa results section will just be purely reporting of the result. And then the last part will be a summary or a synthesis of the key findings. Okay? So kay naman mo daghang table, table number 1, demographic profile, table number 2, like level of awareness, example lang na ha, and then table number 3, level of practice. So sa kana, naana siya yung mga description kada table, and then sa last part jud of the results section is a summary of everything from table 1 to table 5 for example. And then ang i-highlight lang ninyo dito katupod mga important things you have observed in the data you have gathered. Okay? And then take note that in writing the results section, you will be using past tense. Kasi human na ka-gather sa imuhang data. But for now, well, when you revise your paper, ayaw sa ninyo na siya i-past tense kaya wala pa man ta nakakandak og study. Naka-future tense pa na tanan ang ato ang isubmit sa Research Ethics Committee. Pag ma-approve na siya sa Research Ethics Committee, that will be the time na magsugod mo og revise, and especially sa methodology, inyuhan na siyang i-past tense. Okay, I hope that is clear. Do you have questions so far?
None, ma'am, so far.
Okay. Sige. So again, the sequence of the results, you have to follow the order of the statement of the problem. Okay? And then the contents is in chronological order. Ano una? Non-textual elements like table and graphs, and then followed by the textual presentation. When you say textual presentation, this is where we describe what is written in the table or sa graph. So in presenting our data class, sa presentation actually, we are just arranging our data sa sequence na ato ang gina-follow. And we can present our data in 3 ways. Pwede siya textual, tabular, or graphical. So pag sinabing tabular presentation, this is where we use tables in organizing and presenting our data. Now, what are the advantages of using tables in presenting our data? Since the reader can see directly the numerical results of your paper, then the researchers will just need a little explanation sa what is written in your table. So just by looking at the table, actually the readers can comprehend and interpret your results easily. And actually, they can see relationships if ever naa kay ano man siya. But make sure na pag himo na to sa atuang table, kanang dili siya kalat. Nakaano jud siya. Naka-arrange jud siya logically na bisag dili like MedTech ang magbasa, makasabot siya sa inyuhang result. So just bisan pag dili nila basahon ang textual presentation, makasabot na sila sa inyuhang result, and they can give even their own interpretation of your results based on the table presented. Now, in constructing your table, kailangan may title yan siya, may number, and may heading. So, ang title na to is like table lang. Lagay niyo lang table and the number. Table number 1, table number 2. And then the heading, pwede siya like kung table number 1 is your demographic profile, then the heading is table 1, demographic profile of the respondent. So hatagan nato siya og heading or title niya para for easy identification. Pero again, like if your SOP number 1 is demographic profile, dapat inyong table number 1 pod ing ana. Okay? So kung dili ta mo gamit og table in presenting our data, we have the option to use graphical presentation. So this is where we use graphs, daghan tag klaseng graph in presenting our data. So pwede siya bar, line, circle, pictogram, and map graph like this one. So kaning pie charts, most of the time we use this for demographic profile. Kana, pwede na to ni siya like 5% babae, 10% lalaki if I'm talking about gender han at sex kasi preferences. Depende kung unsa ang ginapangita ninyo na demographic profile. Pero usahay man good napansin ako sa mga panel, um, though ginadawat nila ning pie chart sa demographic profile, most of the time ginapabalhin nila sa appendices. And ang gusto nila makita sa result section kay table. So, i-table na lang ninyo daan ang inyuhang demographic profile, for example. And if you really want to present your result using a graph, then ibutang na to siya sa appendix na part. So you have an option whether to use the pie chart or the bar chart or the pictographs. Sa organizational chart, wala kay tanaga gamit ani sa flow chart lang dito sa methodology na section. Pero pag-abot sa results, either pie chart or bar chart lang na siya. And then again, ibutang na lang siya sa appendices unless kung i-require siya sa panel or i-require siya sa inyong advisor. Okay? And the most important thing in presenting your data is the textual presentation. So what is written in your table should be explained, should be described in the textual presentation, and then highlighting the important data and isupplement ninyo ang kung unsa man ang naa sa inyong table or naa sa inyong graph na kailangan i-explain for the readers to understand. Okay? So, how do we organize and write the results section of our paper? We have to present a synopsis of the results followed by an explanation of the key findings. Okay? I-present nato like table and then i-present nato what is written in the table. Explain nato unsa nang table nato. And then after that, we highlight. So, ginabalik-balik na ko na siya. Kaya kailangan yun na to i-highlight ang pinaka-importante na mga information na ato ang nag-gather. So, present your result first and then i-explain na to. Dili pwede na kalat siya na nakay table, gi-explain nimo siya kadali tapos nag-present na pug kag another table and then gi-explain na pud nimo nya nibalik ka didto og explain sa table number 1. Dapat pasunod siya. Table number 1, explanation niya before ka mag-move on sa table number 2. And then sa last part again, you provide synopsis or summary of everything with the highlighted na important or relevant observation or information. So I'm almost done with the results section. What are the problems to avoid when you write the results section of your paper? So first, you have to describe your result, but you don't need to discuss it or interpret it. Again, reserve the analysis and interpretation to the discussion na part. Next, you should also avoid reporting background information or attempting to explain your findings. So usahay mag-explain man gud ta nga mauni atong result kay mauni ang nahitabo. No, you do that sa discussion na part. And when you want to provide the background information, you also do that sa discussion na part. And actually, kanang background information sa ato ang study, naana na siya sa atong introduction, naana pud na siya sa ato ang review of related literature. So no need to write it again sa results section. Next, there will be times that you will have negative results. You don't need to ignore those kasi a negative result is still a result. pwede na siya dili i-highlight as long as ma-present nato siya and ma-describe nato. Pwede pud nato siya i-discuss pero dito na siya sa discussion part. Another thing, you have to avoid including raw data and intermediate calculations. Class, the raw data should be placed sa appendices. Sa appendix na tanan. Like ang answer ni Ingani, mauni tanan, appendix na siya. Ang atua lang ginabutang sa result section kay ang important ones and ang katong na kanang na-analyze na statistically. Pero ang raw data, even ang inyuhang mga computation like how you get the mean, though you can present the mean sa result section na part, pero the operation, the process of getting it should be placed sa appendices. So I hope that's clear na pag magsulat mo sa inyong result section pohon, I will not see raw data unless it's required. Mubutang lang ta og raw data pag required lang siya. So you have to talk with your advisors or advisor whether raw data should be placed in the results section or in the appendices. Okay? When I say raw data, pag naamoy 200 kabuok nga tao, itagan ninyo sa questionnaire, katong ilahang answer per question, mo to ang ginatawag og raw data. And then again, wala na to siya ginabutang sa result section. Okay? So be as factual and concise as possible when you report your findings. So, dili dapat siya vague na dili siya dayon masabtan. Like you say, this variable is greater than the other. Giingana nimo siya state. So makapangutan na jud ang imuhang reader ana, what variable are you talking about? So you have to be specific para siya, mas dali siya masabtan. Okay, walay magmanipulate og data ha. Kay naarabay sa mga previous na mga batches na kanang nagipit na sila sa time, hapit na ang final defense, wala pa nila na-gather ang ang needed nila na mga information. They cannot reach their respondents or participants, kulang na sila sa time, usahay magmanipulate og data. So do not do that. Pag-abot magka-problema taani sa inyong final defense, kay there will be a big possibility na mapansin na siya sa inyong panel nga your data is manipulated. So mo nang be factual. I-report ninyo what is true and what is given by your respondents or your participants. And then another thing that you have to avoid is presenting the same data or the same information more than once. When you want to really highlight something, you want to discuss it more, you want to explain it more, you do that in the discussion section. Okay? You just present your data once. And please avoid confusing figures with tables. Kung table siya. So the title should be table number 1, not figure number 1. Okay? And then when you make your table, make sure that you arrange it in a way where when the reader reads it, it's understandable. Makasabot siya nga mao ni siya ang babae, mao ni ang lalaki, pila sila ka buok, pila ka percent ang babae, pila ka percent ang lalaki. Okay? Dapat masabtan siya tanan. Anyway, I will be checking pohon pag mahuman na mo sa inyong presentation, sa inyong data. So those are the things you need to take note and remember when you start writing the results section of your paper. Do you have questions, class? Wala? The slide is already provided sa Schoology na account. If you are not yet added sa Schoology, then you let me know so that I can add you.